Hello and welcome to a new video on IGCSE Mathematics. In this video, we shall be discussing changing the subject or isolating a variable. We shall begin with linear equations. The total surface area of a cone is given by the formula A equals pi RL plus pi R squared. Find A when R equals 6.2 and L equals 10.8. So this is not really isolation, this is just a different concept. However, part II will have to do with our topic for today. So let's just do this quickly anyway. A equals pi multiplied by R. So R is 6.2. And then L is 10.8. So this is pi RL plus pi R squared, which is pi multiplied by 6.2 again. But this time 6.2 is raised to the power of 2. We will need a calculator here, of course. So pi times 6.2 times 10.8 is 210.36. And then pi times 6.2 squared gives us 120.76. And we add these up together. So 210.36 plus 120.76. The final answer is 331.12. This is the final answer for I. For II, we want to rearrange the formula to make L the subject. So we want L to be alone on one side. So A equals pi RL plus pi R squared. We want L to be alone. So let's take this term and move it to the left-hand side. So we have A minus pi R squared equals pi RL. And then we want to get rid of pi and R. So we'll divide both sides by pi times R. These will cancel out, and we are left with this expression as a final answer. So 331.12 is correct, and A minus pi R squared over pi R is correct as well. Y equals QX over P. Write X in terms of P, Q, and Y. So we want to isolate the X here. First, we take the P to the other side. So we get PY equals QX. And then we divide both sides by Q so that these cancel out. And we are left with X equals PY over Q. And this is our final answer. We want to make W the subject here. So first we want to get rid of this 2. So let's divide everything by 2 on both sides. These would cancel out and we will be left with W plus H equals P over 2. Then we want to get rid of the H. So W equals P over 2 minus H. And this is the final answer as well. This is correct here. This is one form of the correct final answer. So again, here for I, we just have substitution, which is not really our topic. However, let's do it again, just for review. So you have ut plus half at squared. So we just plug in u becomes 104.3. T becomes 26.5, so 26.5. And then plus half. A is negative 2.2, so we have negative 2.2 here. And then finally, we have t squared, which is 26.5 squared. Now, we simplify using the calculator. So 104.3 times 26.5. This gives us 2,763.95 plus, and then we have half times negative 2.2 times 26.5 squared. And this gives us negative 772.475. We add these numbers together and we get, using the calculator, we just type in 2,763.95 minus 772.475. And the calculator gives us 1991.475. They want the answer in standard form, correct to 4 significant figures. Standard form means we want a decimal after the first digit. So we want to move the decimal 1, 2, 3. So this becomes 1.991475 times 10 to the power of 3. Because we moved 3 steps to the left. So this becomes times 10 to the power of positive 3. And we wanted to 4 significant figures. So we start counting here 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1.99. And then for the last digit, we have to check the digit after. Does it change it or not? 4 is less than 5, so we just keep it as 1. Had it been more than 5, it would have been 2 instead of 1. So we have 1.991 times 10 power 3. This is our final answer. For double I, we want to rearrange the formula to write A in terms of ut and s. So we have s equals ut plus half at squared. We want to isolate the a, so first let's get rid of this term. So we would get s minus ut equals half at squared. Then we want to get rid of the half, so it goes to the other side. You flip the fraction, becomes 2 over 1. So over 1 doesn't really matter. Just keep it as 2. And then we cancel it from here. Finally, we have t squared. So we want to divide the whole thing on both sides by t squared. And then these would cancel out as well. So you'd be left with a equals 2 times s minus ut over t squared. This would be our final answer. So they seem to both be correct and in line with the marking scheme. This is interesting. I meant to get this question in this order because as you can see here, it's the exact same question as before, just to show you that sometimes the questions can repeat. So this style of questioning is important. It seems to come up frequently. So anyway, we want to make A the subject of the formula. So again, we will take ut to the other side. We get s minus ut equals half at squared. And we want to change this half here. So we take it as 2 over 1 on the left. And we put the rest in brackets. And then to get rid of the t squared, we will divide by t squared on both sides. We said that over 1 is not really important. So our final answer would be 2 times s minus ut over t squared. And on the right-hand side, of course, these cancel out. So we're just left with a. So this is the expression that we get as a final answer. 2 times s minus ut divided by t squared. Here we want to make L the subject. Again, we saw this before, but let's do it again anyway. So first we want to get rid of this term. So we have a minus pi r squared equals pi rl. I basically just took this to the left-hand side and it became negative, of course. And then we divide by pi r on both sides. These will cancel out, and this will be the final expression. A minus pi r squared over pi r is the correct final expression. We want to make p the subject here, so you just take the 7 to the other side. You get 5p equals m minus 7. And then you divide both sides by 5. These cancel out. P equals m minus 7 over 5. This is the correct final answer as well. Next, we move on to questions that involve powers and roots. So here we want to make q the subject. So first we want to get rid of the 2. So we divide both sides by 2. We get p over 2 equals, and then these cancel out. So we have q squared. Now we want to get rid of the power 2. So we multiply both sides, or we raise both sides to power half, the reciprocal of the power. And the idea here is that this will cancel out. So we end up with q power 1 on the right and p over 2 power half on the left. Another way of writing power half is to just use a square root like this. And of course, q power 1 is just the same as q. So this is the final answer. You can write positive negative for completeness, but this is not strictly necessary here. However, it is a better answer with positive negative. So here again, we want to isolate the a. So let's first move the y to the other side. We have x minus y equals root a. Root a is the same as a power half. So this is a power half equals x minus y. And then we want to cancel the power, so we raise it to the reciprocal. So the reciprocal is 2 over 1, basically. But we have to do the same thing on the left-hand side. These will cancel out, and 1, of course, will cancel out. So you'll just get a, or a power 1 on the right. And you have x minus y to the power of 2 over 1, which is basically to the power of 2. And this is your final answer. Here you want to make x the subject. So first, let's get rid of the bracket next to the x. Okay, let me rewrite this. So we divide both sides by the same expression, which is basically 2 pi plus what? Left and right. Now these will cancel out. So you end up with x squared equals a over 2 pi plus y. Now you want to get rid of the power. So you raise this to the power of half on both sides. And these will cancel out. So you have x equals a over 2 pi plus y all to the power of half. And we said before that power half is the same as square root. So x equals square root of a over 2 pi plus y. Again, plus minus would be a more accurate answer, but you don't get credit for it and you don't lose credit if you don't write it. However, it is a good idea. So this is the correct final answer here. Now let's try to make y the subject. So first we get rid of x power 2. So we get h squared minus x squared equals 2y squared. We want to further isolate the y. So let's divide everything by 2 on both sides. And these would cancel out. So we would get y squared equals h squared minus x squared over 2. To get rid of the square, we raise both sides to the power of half. And these powers would cancel out. So we are left with y equals h squared minus x squared over 2 to the power of half. We said before that instead of power half, we can just write it as a square root and make sure that the entire expression is under the square root. And positive negative for completeness. But you don't have to write positive negative like we said before. So this is correct as well. Here we want to make x the subject of the formula. So take the b to the other side. You have y minus b equals ax squared. Divide both sides by a. These will cancel out. And then you'd be left with x squared equals y minus b over a. Raise to the power of half. So the power 2 and the power half cancel out. And the power half on the left can become a square root. So you can just write square root y minus b over a equals x. Positive, negative, again, for completeness. So here we first want to do the substitution part. Let's just plug them in. So we have negative 5 squared plus 3 times negative 7. This is negative 21. This is positive 25. You add them up, you get 4. So 4 is the final answer here. Now we want to write p in terms of the others. So y equals p squared plus qr. We want to get rid of this term, so we take it to the other side. So y minus qr equals p squared. Now we raise both sides to the reciprocal power, which is half. And these will cancel out. So p equals, and then instead of this, we're going to just write square root. So square root of y minus qr. Square root of y minus qr is the correct answer here. Now we want to make x the subject of the formula. So first, let's get rid of the square root and let's write it as power half so that we know how to deal with it. So y equals bracket power half. And then to get rid of the power, we will raise the entire thing to the reciprocal power, which is 2 over 1 or just 2. We have to do the same for y as well. So the powers here are going to cancel out, and we are left with x squared plus 1 equals y to the power of 2 over 1, which is basically y squared. Next, we take the 1 to the other side. It will be negative, so y squared minus 1 equals x squared. Finally, we get rid of the power on x by raising it to the reciprocal power. So this is going to be power half on both sides. And we get x on the right. And then instead of this, we're going to just write it as a square root of y squared minus 1. Positive, negative, again, for completeness. I keep forgetting that. Anyway, so make p the subject of this equation. So we want to isolate the p. Let's first take the y squared out of the way. So we have negative 2p squared equals h minus y squared. Next, we want to get rid of the negative 2. So divide by negative 2 on both sides. These will cancel out. So you have p squared equals h minus y squared over negative 2. Raise each side to the power of 1 over 2. And the powers here are going to cancel out. So you have p equals, instead of power half, we're going to write square root of h minus y squared over negative 2. Positive, negative, again, for completeness. And this is the correct answer. There are two correct forms. The one we got is this one, and it is correct. Now we're going to deal with situations where the variable appears twice. So we have p plus 5 equals 1 minus 2r over r. So how would we be able to figure this out? How would we be able to solve this? First, let's take this r to the other side with multiplication. Or in other words, you can multiply both sides by r if you want to do it this way. So let's just multiply both sides by the variable r. These will cancel out, and you will have r times p plus 5 equals 1 minus 2r. Then we will expand the left-hand side, so rp plus 5r equals 1 minus 2r. And then we want to take all the terms that have r on the same side, so let's just take this here. So we will have rp plus 5r plus 2r equals 1. 5r plus 7r plus 2r, I mean, gives us 7r. So rp plus 7r equals 1. Now that we have r on the same side, we just take it out as a common factor. So we have p plus 7 equals 1. Finally, r equals 1 over p plus 7. So 1 over p plus 7 is the correct final answer. Here again, you want to make m the subject. So we'd have to first multiply both sides by m. These would cancel out. So we would get mp equals k plus m. We want all the m's to be on the same side. So we would take the m to the other side here. So mp minus m equals k. We would have to take m out as a common factor. So m times p minus 1 equals k. And then m equals k over p minus 1. And this would be the final expression. K over p minus 1 is correct. Same idea here as well. We want to get rid of the denominator. So we multiply both sides by the denominator. These will cancel out. So we have 2 minus m times x equals 3m. And then we can distribute the x over both terms. We have 2x minus mx equals 3m. We want all the m's to be on the same side, so let's take this to the right. So now we have 2x equals 3m plus mx. We will take m out as a common factor, so m times 3 plus x equals 2x. And finally, we will divide both sides by 3 plus x. So these will cancel out, and you are left with m equals this expression. 2x over 3 plus x is the correct answer. Here we want to make p the subject of the formula. So first, let's just take p to the left. We have rp minus 3p. And then let's take the 5 to the right. So this would be 8r minus 5. And let's take out p as a common factor. So we have r minus 3 equals 8r minus 5. You will have to divide here by r minus 3 on both sides. So these would cancel out, excuse me. So p equals 8r minus 5 over r minus 3. This is the final answer. Make p the subject of the formula a equals p plus prt over 100. So let's first try to get a common denominator here. So to get the common denominator, you will want 100 here in the denominator and 100 in the numerator as well. So a equals 100p over 100 plus prt over 100. And you can then add them up. So a equals 100p plus prt over 100. Now the 100 in the denominator can be removed by multiplying by 100 on both sides. So this will cancel this out. And we are left with 100a equals 100p plus prt. Now we can take p out as a common factor. So you get 100 plus rt. And this is equal to 100a. You can now divide both sides by the bracket. So these will cancel out, and this will be your final expression. 100a over 100 plus rt is the correct final answer. Here we want to write r in terms of p and pi. So we can just take r as a common factor. So r times 2 plus pi equals p. Let's rewrite it here. P equals r times 2 plus pi. Then divide both sides by 2 plus pi. This bracket will cancel out. So you're left with p over 2 plus pi as the final answer. Here you want to make x the subject of the formula. So let's first try to get rid of the denominator to make life simpler. So we will multiply both sides by t. The t will cancel out. So we have at, we're distributing the t here. So at minus tx equals xr. Since we want x to be the subject, we're going to take everything containing x to one side. So we have xr plus tx equals at. And then we're going to take x as a common factor. So at equals x times r plus t. And then we will divide by r plus t on both sides. These will cancel out. So you have only x on the right. And this is your final answer. And this brings us to the end of our video. I hope this has been beneficial. Thank you for watching.